It is cloudy and 62 degrees. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call for a free estimate, now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer.
And by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis and Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
That's right. It is happening, and we've got a big show for you today. We expect to be talking with Ricky Proehl, who is the head coach of the Battlehawks. He'll be joining us later in the hour. We also are hoping to have a conversation with Matthew Liberatore, who's going to make the Grapefruit League start for the Cardinals coming up here. But it's Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and we are joined by Matt Pauley, who is also in Florida, and he is covering Cardinals spring training. How's it going today there, Matt?
Good. Do we need to do like a little thing here before I start talking?
Oh, yeah. Let's do the thing, Matt.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
Feels more official now, doesn't it? Yeah.
I can't talk without an intro, obviously.
Yeah. We give you all kinds of intros throughout the day. So there's Matt Pauley joining us from spring training in Florida. So I know that we talked during the last hour or a couple of hours ago on the Chris and Amy show. Anything change from then until now?
No. I had a couple live BP sessions today. I mean, things are just kind of rolling along. Everybody's excited for Saturday. You know, one of the things that is a little bit notable here, we've seen teams across Major League Baseball get into their respective ballparks early to test the ABS system. The Cardinals want to do that, but the ballpark isn't fully ready yet. So they are not sure if they're going to be able to get in there and do what they want to do prior to Saturday.
I mean, is that okay? I mean, do they need to, or should they be able to figure it out once the Grapefruit League starts?
I don't think there's anything lost if it doesn't happen. It sounds like they are going to get in there for a little bit tomorrow and maybe have a limited run, but like they are working so hard down here to get the ballpark ready by Saturday. Even things like the sidewalks, they're replacing all the cement on the sidewalks, like square by square, for lack of a better term. So like 1 hour you'll be walking and a certain area will be completely blocked off and you'll have to, go into like the bushes to get into a door. And then the next hour that'll all be dried up and you can walk over it. And another section is, I mean, it is still an active construction site here in Jupiter around the ballpark.
Let me clarify. All these things are being worked on at once, right? It's not like they're just doing the sidewalk squares first.
No, there's so many workers down here doing things, and every day something new is being put in. Like even all the doors around the facility are being replaced. It sounded like that was one of the projects today. There was some question about whether or not all the doors were going to fit appropriately to the door frames. But you would be like, it's just, there's a lot going on here. They got the stuff done that they needed to get done to start spring training. But once they're still wrapping up phase 2, and then phase 3 is going to start once spring training comes to an end.
Matt, I'm starting to come to the conclusion that the pyramids were easier to put together than Roger Dean Stadium. But that's just me.
The aliens did that, Bernie.
So that's right. That's right. No, it'll be good. I wanted to ask you about this, Matt. Like I've always joked, the best thing about spring training is you get to overreact to everything. The worst thing about spring training is you get to overreact to everything. How much concern is there in the camp about some of the pitching concerns with injuries to Riley O'Brien and Brandon Clark and a couple other of these guys, Eshawn Henderson, who could have been, still could be maybe a guy that would be in the big league rotation picture later this year, something like that. Is there any concern, or do they like the depth they have that would ease those concerns?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of concern right now. Like going one by one on those, Clark wasn't going to be in the big leagues this year. So it's a bummer for him because he represents so much coming over as one of those high ceiling guys that came over in a trade. So they're hopeful that he'll be able to be back good to go at some point mid-season, but he wasn't going to impact the big league roster in all likelihood this year. Henderson could impact the big league roster. His deal doesn't sound like a major type thing. They're just slowing him down a little bit, so I wouldn't expect him to miss much time, and he was never going to be on the opening day roster. The Riley O'Brien thing, we'll get you can ask me this question again over the next few days as we get more information, but this is my read on it right now. I don't think he's going to go to the WBC. And I think what's happening here is he's just not able to ramp up because of the calf issue. And that's not a terrible thing, because even without a calf issue, ramping up in like 3 weeks to being able to throw high leverage innings in a sold out Tokyo Dome during the WBC, that in itself is a dicey situation. And the Cardinals were concerned about that even before there was any type of injury. So my takeaway is, now that he's been slowed down and basically the ramp up process has stopped, I don't see how the WBC happens. That being said, it is just a small calf issue from what we understand right now. So I think this impacts the WBC for him. I don't think it impacts opening day. I say that just kind of reading tea leaves. Nothing officially has been said yet. And let's see what is said when we get an official word on Riley.
Speaking of opening day, Lars Nootbaar came back, joined camp yesterday. Do we think he'll be ready to go?
I would, if the proverbial gun to the head, I would say he's not ready to go on opening day, but I don't think it's going to be that much longer that he's good to go. He needs to be medically cleared at this point, and he's still not there. He got to a point where his rehab progressed, and that's why he has come to Jupiter. There's this weightless treadmill thing that he was using that eventually they'll have here. They don't have it yet just because they're still bringing in equipment on like an everyday basis. So that piece of equipment was not available for him to use. So he stayed in Southern California, got to a point where his rehab, he can now be 100% weight bearing. So he doesn't have to worry about the weightless treadmill at this point. So that's a really good step forward for him. They are working really hard, and they're being very deliberate in saying that there is still no timeline on this, but they're not taking opening day off the table because they do feel like once he's medically cleared, it's not going to take very long for him to be good. And I know I mentioned this on Chris and Amy. It's just remarkable. He, over the last couple years, could not walk upstairs sometimes when he got home from the ballpark. He was literally hanging on to a banister just to get upstairs in his house. And that's what he was playing through. We can have the conversation about whether or not he should have been playing through that. That's neither here nor there at the moment. But that's how debilitating it was for him. So I know he's dealt with injuries throughout his career. It's not always been this. But I'm excited for him that maybe he can. There's at least the possibility that he finds a different gear this year because he's kind of finally back to being able to be an athlete.
I would strongly prefer that he takes his time. There's just no reason in the world to rush, because the last thing you want, the worst thing that you would happen is he tries to push it a little too soon. He has a setback. I mean, so, take your time. What difference does it make at this point, right? He'll play a lot of ball once he gets fully healthy. But I did want to ask you this. The Cardinals aren't exactly teaming with a huge supply of like proven major league outfielders. So what would be the contingency in left field for however time, how much time Newt would miss at the beginning of the season?
I think it's Jose Fermin and Nelson Velasquez right now. Those are the two names that jump out. I don't mention Thomas Sajaci because I actually think they're more interested in Sajaci in center field to be a guy who can spell Victor Scott II. Not that they're not going to go throw him out there in left field. If the Cardinals had to post a lineup tomorrow in a game that matters, I think Jose Fermin would be their left fielder.
Are there any other, as we get really deep into spring training and we start this Grapefruit League on Saturday, and actually spring training baseball for real starts tomorrow around the league. Yeah. But that's how close we are. What are of the storylines that we have not talked about? Because we've talked about JJ Weatherholt probably making the team. We've talked about Jordan Walker and, the work that he's done and trying to get his swing right. Is there something that we are missing?
That's a good question. Maybe a little bit with the starting rotation, because we talked about how much depth there is. Hunter Dobbins isn't medically cleared now. And I get the sense that Ali talked about it the other day, that he doesn't really feel like spring training actually really allows you to fully ramp up your starting pitching staff, especially if you have a bunch of guys who you're trying to stretch out. So I think they would like to go into some sort of, I don't know if it's a 6-man rotation, a 5.5-man rotation, if it's somebody who, if they just kind of mix and match it. They're not attached to everybody's got to pitch every 5th day. They're attached to what's going to be best for each individual, and let's build a schedule around that. Here, even in spring, there's going to be some starting pitchers who are on a 5-day schedule and some starting pitchers on a 6-day schedule, and mixing and matching that is a little bit easier said than done. So when you start doing the math on that, if Hunter Dobbins isn't available to start the season and he's not medically cleared yet, well, then you've got 6 guys for maybe 6 spots. So as much as we've talked about all this starting pitching depth, there might not actually be quite as much depth because of what's going to be needed at the start of the season. So I don't know. I don't think we've talked about that all that much. That's the first thing that kind of jumps out at me.
Matt Pauley live from Florida right now. And Matt, we appreciate your reporting from spring training, and we will talk again to start the Gashouse Gang tomorrow at 12.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. I'll be on the whole show tomorrow.
Oh,
It's Friday.
Great. All right. So you're with us, and it'll be Mike Claiborne, you and me. Perfect.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Talk to you then, buddy.
All right.
See ya.
That is Matt Pauley live from Florida, where the Cardinals are in the midst of spring training, and Matthew Liberatore will start on Saturday in the Grapefruit League opener. I think Matthews is expected to get some work as well in that game. We are going to carry it right here on 104.1 FM KMOX, and we do expect to be talking with Matthew Liberatore soon right here on this show today before it is over. But Bernie, as we hit the break, let's tell everybody about our friends at Stewart's American Mortgage.
I'm happy to do it. Stuart Rosenblum, and by all means, please call him Stewie. He's proud to own and operate what I think is the most customer-friendly mortgage company in the St. Louis area, plus across the river in Illinois. Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie is truly unique because he gives his personal cell phone number to all of his customers and anyone who just wants to find out some information about how he can help them. His customer service has always been exceptional, but it's also very personal. You can call his cell phone number, and so put this on your contacts list, 314-324-4440. That way you won't have to wait on hold on a customer line for hours, not knowing if you're ever going to get the help. But if you call Stewie, you're going to get the help and get it quickly. But the biggest difference you get with Stewart's American Mortgage, you pay less. That's because Stewart is the only lender around who offers the bagel loan. It's called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero, the bagel hole in the middle. And you pay zero in fees that other dealers charge for, like when you refinance. And it's a great time to do that, by the way. You pay no appraisal fees, no closing costs, no title fees, no broker fees, zero. And when you buy a home and take out a loan for $200,000 or more, you pay zero lender fees. So the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage will literally save you thousands of dollars. You're going to be working with a good man who's going to treat you great, just as Stewie's been doing for the last 35 years. They'll also close your loan as little as 10 days, opposed to the 3 or 4 weeks at other places. So to find out more about Stewart's American Mortgage, just Google bagel loan. It'll take you right there, or call Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. Thanks.
Percent of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten. End of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer, out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4-RELIEF, 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800 4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott, St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Race car drivers like NASCAR champion Jesse Love are a lot like commercial drivers, pros, but even the best watch the tape to see what they missed and get better next time. The Samsara driving coach does the same for your fleet, giving drivers real-time feedback to build safer habits. Samsara's AI uses billions of miles of real driving data to help fleets prevent accidents and protect drivers.
If it makes me a better driver, it'll make your fleet unstoppable.
Because even champions need a coach. Learn more at samsara.com. Bernie Nicholas on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the Bagel Loan, and by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer.
Gashouse Gang streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Find the KMOX sports pages for all of those, and you can watch the show if you want to. Of course, we are on the Odyssey app as well. The Gashouse Gang is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Bernie Nicholas, Chris Ranji, and we will talk to Ricky Proehl, who is the head coach of the Battlehawks. He will be joining us in studio at 12:30, and then we are expecting a conversation with Matthew Liberatore, who is going to start on Saturday in the Grapefruit League opener, which likely means that he will start the opener. At least we think he's going to, when the baseball season actually begins. But Bernie, a year from now, we might be in the middle, and looks likely we are still going to be in the middle of a baseball lockout. We do fully expect that when December of this year rolls around, that we are going to have the lockout. The CBA expires. We know that Tony Clark, the union president, this week abruptly stepped down. Then we found out it was because he was having an affair with his brother's wife, which is frowned upon in society. And now we don't know, and it looks likely that Bruce Meyer is going to be the negotiator. But this comes at a really, really bad time. And Bernie, I wanted to get your take on this because Chris Bassett, who is an MLB pitcher, and he's one of 8 players on the executive subcommittee for the union. And he said this, and I'm going to read to you most of it. And I want to get your thoughts on what he said and what it means. Quote, "The salary cap doesn't fix anything. If you look at every major sport that has a salary cap, we have the best parity. The salary cap is not the issue. Having suppressed salaries across the league so owners can make more money is not the answer. Like if I tell you in 25 years, the Dodgers will be going to 10 World Series and winning 7 of them. Is that an issue? Because that's the Patriots. Then the Chiefs have been to 6 or 7. The Philadelphia Eagles have been to 4 or 5. The parity in our sport is better than any other sport, so we will make changes to try to help the so-called bottom teams out. But a salary cap and suppressing salaries and taking from players to try to help the so-called bottom teams spend more, that is not the answer." And that is just a part of what he said. So when I hear that, it's not a surprise that the players are dug in against the salary cap, but it sounds pretty ominous if you think about it.
Well, I think everyone envisions that this is coming, whether Tony Clark was the head of the union or not. I have written columns about this. The fact that Major League Baseball's parity is actually very underrated and very underappreciated compared to other teams. And that can be documented by facts. If you take away some of the recency bias, it is especially true. That said, so when I say that, however, I am not a staunch anti-salary cap person. If anything, I'm in favor of the salary cap. If for no other reason, is that if they get a salary cap, I won't have to hear everyone talk about a salary cap 365 days a year, And it seems to have worked out okay for all the other professional teams. It will not be the end of the world for the players. See, that's what the Chris Bassett's don't talk about. Like, everything he said was factually true. But in the other sports, all of the players are doing extremely well economically in terms of salary and compensation. So the salary cap hasn't impaired their ability to make money to the level that they should make money. So I'm not sure what the major league players are so scared of, because the salary cap in other sports shows that the players make out. They gain. The best players make the most money. What happens in baseball? The best players make the most money. And that's not going to change. My concern about Bruce Meyer is that he's going to be in a situation now where he's in charge, and he was already considered to be a very tough, very rigid, maybe even unreasonable negotiator. Now he's going to be dug in because he's going to want to keep the job. So he's going to have to prove that he's the toughest guy in America and all that stuff. Tony Clark, at least, realized there was a time where you just make your best deal and everybody benefits and you hug it out and then you play ball. Bruce Meyer is going to be on a mission to show that he's not Scott Boris's puppet, which some people think that he is. And he's going to want to show that, he deserves to be in that job for as long as he wants it. So it'll be really interesting. I don't want to dismiss the Tony Clark thing as like personal failing. There's still that federal investigation.
Yeah.
That is a really big deal.
Yes, it is.
There seems to be some serious financial impropriety, and Tony Clark's responsible for it, if true. That's a huge deal. Here's my question. Am I supposed to believe that this has been going on for 3 or 4 years? I mean, just money disappearing. Am I supposed to believe Stuart Meyer knew nothing of this?
Well, of course, somebody had to have. He didn't do that all by himself without any knowledge of it. There's just no way. I agree with you on that. I guess what bothers me about all of this is, that is obviously a very, very big deal and a crime we're talking about.
Huge deal.
What he did with the personal life, also a big deal. What bothers me is he knows he's got an important job and that you can't be messing around, because livelihoods depend on you. A lot of livelihoods. We're not just talking about the players and the coaches. We're talking about people who rely on games being played because they work at the stadiums, or, they work in the front office, or they do jobs where they don't get paid unless the teams actually play. So to avoid a work stoppage is a very big deal. And this guy's out doing all the stuff that he's doing. And one other thing I want to say about parity.
But I still think the financial improprieties that are so wide scale, huge scale, if that's all true, and listen, the Eastern District of New York, they don't bring charges unless they're 100% convinced they're going to make them stick.
Sure.
That's their history. That's a much bigger deal, I'm sorry, than Tony Clark having a fling.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, it's, all of it is a huge problem, a huge problem.
So, and I'm saying, like, who else in the Players Association knew all about both of these things?
Right.
So I think they have a huge credibility issue, and they're trying to talk as if, oh, no, we're as strong as ever. I don't think they are. The
last thing I want to say about the parity, it is true that there have been 9 different World Series winners, but there have only been, in the last 14 years, or 12 years, that is. The only small market teams, though, that have won have been the Cardinals and the Royals. That's it. So, yeah, there is a different World Series winner every year, it seems like, but it's always a big market team. So there is a problem there, I think. Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang. Ricky Proehl, the head coach of the Battlehawks, joins us next.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. What you gonna talk about? It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Mostly cloudy, 56 degrees in St. Louis. Could be more storms in the afternoon. A high of 68, low of 34 tonight.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Hi, it's Kevin Wheeler here with Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Welcome back, Gloria. For years now, you've been on KMOX helping families plan their next big move with your Guaranteed Sold program. So for those planning to sell their home this year, what's your best advice?
Thank you. My advice is simple. Do your homework before listing your home. Our market is stabilizing. Inventory is tightening and moving fast. In other words, the realtor you choose to sell your home really matters. That's why my sellers love my guaranteed sale program. I guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. I have thousands of buyers in my buyers in waiting database, so your home may already been sold before it's ever hit the market. Higher demand, more competition, and more money for your home.
Friends, if you want a realtor who will guarantee results, call the one that I trust. Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. If it's cold outside, the team at Morelli Tuck Pointing is still busy. During colder months, Morelli can inspect any exposed brick inside your house. If your basement has a stone or black wall, Morelli can remove the worn-out mortar from that wall and replace it with new mortar. This tuck pointing work will reinforce your foundation, prevent water from entering your home, and thwart pests. This is a great time to get the inside of your garage inspected. And the same goes for your brick or stone fireplace. I've used Morelli Tuck Pointing to repair the chimneys, walkways, and walls of 2 homes here in St. Louis. The Morelli bids are fair, their crews are super polite, and they clean their job sites. Don't take my word for it. Check out the reviews on Google. Winner of the BBB Torch Award and the Next Door Neighbor Fave Award, 35 years in business, an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contest.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling.
And by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis and Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is the Gashouse Gang, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and we are now joined in studio by Ricky Proehl, who is the head coach of the Battlehawks. They open up their season March 28th here at the Dome at America Center against DC. Ricky, you getting ready for the season?
Yeah, it's I can't even tell you how excited I am. I mean, got into Arlington. The team gets in tonight. Meet with them tomorrow. I'm fired up. I got a great staff. We've been meeting all week, game planning, putting stuff together, scripts, just getting ready for practice next week. And just to be back in the Lou is it just feels good. It was I'll be honest with you though, it was rough coming in. One of the worst flights I've had in about 10, 15 years.
Well, that's not good. Why?
No, it was just the weather is bad
Okay.
and it was the plane was jumping all over the place. So I'm glad I'm here. 2 feet solid ground. So it's, but it's hard to explain when I fly into that airport and the memories that everything that just flashes back in mind and the memories that I have here.
Ricky, Bernie Miklasz, I'm on remote. I'm doing the Zoom thing or the StreamYard thing.
Yeah.
First of all, it's good to see you. And I'm so glad you're going to be the head coach of the Battlehawks.
I appreciate
Class
that, Bernie.
act.
It's great to hear your voice, man.
Class act, huge contribution to the best time for pro football with the NFL when the Rams, I don't have to tell you about that. But I want to ask you about this though. Give us a sense of your team. You're getting close. What do you like about your team? Where do you think you're going to be strong?
Wide
What
outs.
do you need to work on? What?
Wide outs.
Receivers.
Really?
No, I'm fired up. We got a great wide receiver room, but we've got Feeney coming back, Peta. We got Cam Kelly. We got a lot of the nucleus of this football team back. That was important, and Dave and Beck did a great job of building this football team over the last several years. So I tried to keep as many guys as I could. As many as I could retain, and then with addition, adding some guys along the way, and I'm fired up. I can't even tell you, Bernie, how excited I am to get going, get these guys rolling, but just to set the standard on how we're going to play football and how we're going to do it, and play championship football.
And you've been through all kinds of training camps in your professional career. What's different? And how is there more of a challenge with UFL training camps than maybe the way it's done in the NFL? Is it about the same? How do you see it?
There is. It's a great question. It is challenging. It's different. You don't have as many guys. We'll have 63-ish, 60 guys, when then you got your 61 guys, and then you got your skilled or your specialists. But so the numbers aren't as big, but we'll make it work. I mean, we just got to be smart in how we prepare as coaches to where we don't, a recovery period. We work them hard, then we back off, work them hard, back off. And it can be done. It's not something that, that we haven't done before, or I haven't done before. I think when I was with the Carolina Panthers as a receiver coach, we had 12 guys, which is what we have now. But it's just about reps and just counting the reps, being real cognizant of how many reps are taken per day, and then just slowly increasing those reps so we don't have any soft tissue injuries. And that's the biggest thing, is getting through camp to where they're getting tape, they're getting to perform and execute the plays that we want them to execute, but doing it in a smart, efficient way to where they don't get injured.
Well, Ricky, you said you love the wideouts, but that leads to a natural follow-up. All right, who's going to be slinging the ball to him? What's your quarterback situation like? The Battlehawks have had a sequence of really good quarterbacks. So what about 2026?
Well, we had our first setback. Michael Pratt decided that his heart wasn't in it, and he decided not to play. But we have Brandon Silvers, who is a savvy vet who's been in this league for 5 years. He knows the system. He's a great leader. I know for a fact. I a lot of history with this guy. My son played for him in Seattle, and then obviously I watched from afar last year. I know Brandon very well, so I'm excited that he's a part of our football team. His leadership will be huge, a lot like AJ in what he brings to the table in his veteran leadership. And then we have Ben Woolridge, who was with the New England Patriots, and I'm excited about this kid. He's got a lot of talent. A big arm. And he loves football, very passionate. I called Jake Delhomme because they went to the same school in Louisiana Lafayette. And I said, tell me about Ben Woolridge. He said, the guy just lives and breathes football, man. He lives in the facility, and I've already seen that because he's been here with Jordan Palmer. The quarterbacks from the league have been working with Jordan, and he's in our facility at 5, 6 o'clock after he's already been outside with Jordan for 4 to 5 hours and just talking ball with AJ, our offense coordinator.
And you know about the Dome. You played in it many, many games, and you saw what it was like when the Rams were here. You've also seen what it's like when the Battlehawks are playing there, especially compared to the rest of the league. The way this city draws fans is really something even with UFL.
It's a league changer. I mean, this fan base is the flagship of this league. And I'm here to try to grow that. We have a new owner now that is, I can't say enough about his passion and his excitement to grow this league. He's got goals of wanting to add teams but he's kind of laid the law like, hey, I want to grow ticket sales. I want to put more fans in the seats and I'm going to help him do that. And that's a product that we put on the field. And Coach Beck has done a great job. I mean, I think it's 22-8 over the last 3 years. Our goal obviously is to get over the hump and win a championship. And I feel like I know what that looks like. I know what we have to do to get that done. I was blessed to play in 4 Super Bowls, coach another Super Bowl. And it's the details, man. The devil's in the details. And I'm going to set that standard from day one.
Yeah, I'll let Bernie go ahead and jump in here, but I'll just make this comment about being at Battlehawks games. It is very different. It's very different than just about any other sport that you would attend in St. Louis. People are really into it. Just really into it here.
I've witnessed it firsthand as a spectator and as a coach, and you talk to guys. I've gotten to know a lot of these guys that play in this league. They love playing here. They play for other teams. They play for Orlando. They play for Houston. They love coming to St. Louis and play because of the atmosphere and the environment. And kudos. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, I got the opportunity to play in this dome and, for 5 seasons and an NFC championship and another NFC championship. And there's nothing like it. People don't talk. It was so loud in that place in 99 and in 2001. I mean, it's, like I said, and you've heard me say it 100,000 times. These are the greatest fans in our country. I mean, they come to support, win, lose. They're there. And when we were bad in 98, they were there. And when we were great in 99, they were there. And that's a true testament to the fan base here at St. Louis.
Ricky, I got one for you. And listen, I know your job's to coach a football team and make your players better and reward the fans that way. But if I want to throw something out there real quick. I was talking to Randy Carricker about this, and we're both concerned, and I know a lot of people are concerned. What we had here with the Rams during that incredible time was very, very special. And the longer that team has not been here, I worry that it's the memories and the pride that go with that era kind of are starting to fade a little bit. You see Torrey Holt getting overlooked for the Hall of Fame, for example, which is absurd.
Yep.
Because you were such a huge part of that team, do you believe there's a way for the Battlehawks to sort of keep that spirit of those 99 to 2001 Rams alive? Maybe having some of your former teammates come in and wave to the crowd and all that stuff. How can we can have the best of both worlds. We can have the Battlehawks, but we can honor those Rams teams. So tell us about that.
I love it. We Stoley and I were talking about that. I was talking about that with Russ Brandon, who is our president and CEO of this league. I said, listen, man, we already talked about Mike Jones being our ambassador, but bringing Torrey, bringing Grant Wistrom, bringing Isaac, Kurt, all these guys back. We got Jeff Scanina's on my staff. My son is on my staff, who I was carrying out in '99 Super Bowl, and now he's a grown man. He doesn't always act like it, but he is. I don't act like a grown man either. But anyway, yes. I just to bring that energy, bring these guys back. I just, we're on a text chain. I talk with these guys and text with these guys every day. Ray Agnews and Aeneas Williams, Marshall's coaching now. Torrey, Isaac. Torrey's going to get in. It's the hardest position to get in right now, but he's going to get in. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just a matter of time, and I know it's hard because then you get pushed down a little further, but he'll get in, and it'll be the right time when he does, and we'll all celebrate, and it'll be fun to get the crew back together. But I'm going to try to do everything in my power to get these guys on the sidelines and bring that energy and bring that 99 feeling back, and hopefully our football team will bring that feeling back by the way we play.
Ricky Proehl, it's awesome to have you back in St. Louis. We're looking forward to Saturday, March 28th, 11 o'clock game against DC at the Dome. Tickets are available, theufl.com, and you can buy those tickets now. Let's fill the place like we have been doing for years.
St. Louis.
Ricky, it's good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in. And
I
good luck.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you so
We'll talk
much.
again soon.
Absolutely.
Ricky Proehl, head coach of the Battlehawks, with us. When we come back, we are scheduled to talk with Matthew Liberatore, who is starting the Grapefruit League opener for the Cardinals on Saturday. That is next on the Gashouse Gang.
We're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hey, Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Always proud to represent the Saliga family, and this great family business in St. Louis has been taking care of generations of St. Louis since 1927. That's 100 years, the same family of Saligas. Fourth generation owner-operators, Dan Saliga. The standards are as high as ever. And because of that, this Daikin Comfort dealer is going to give you the best customer service, the most knowledgeable service, the most reliable service, the most honest service that you can count on here in St. Louis. And the Miklas family knows it because we've been calling Saliga for help with heating and cooling and a couple of other things for 18 years, going on 19. And I can just vouch for how dependable they are and how much we trust them. And they never fool around with you. They never try to talk you into stuff, twist your arm, try to hustle you, upsell you, whatever. They will look to save you money. They will answer all your questions. They will carefully explain every option, and they will help you make the right choice with no pressure involved. They just have such an impeccable standard. So I heartily endorse them if you're not sure who to call for help. So to find out more, including the phone number, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/4 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the Bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that Bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket, and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Bernie Miklasz on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the Bagel Loan, and by Salika Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer.
The pitch is swung on and missed. Liberatore gets a strikeout, throwing a cutter up and away. 6 strikeouts for Liberatore.
Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang, and we go back to Florida. We bring in starter for the St. Louis Cardinals, Matthew Liberatore, joins the show. He will be starting on Saturday. Matthew, good to talk to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank you for being with us, and you're a couple of days away from the Grapefruit League start. So what goes into the preparation for a spring start as opposed to a regular season one?
Yeah, probably a little less scouting, but it's exciting time of year, and you get to see all your hard off season work pay off, and I couldn't be more excited to be taking the ball in a few days.
Libby, Bernie Miklasz, it's really nice of you to take some time for us. I wanted to ask you, what did you learn last year, your first excursion as a full-time starter in the big leagues, and taking what you learned, how do you put it to use in 2026?
Yeah, it's definitely a much different experience than I had in 24 coming out of the pen all year. But similar to coming out of the bullpen, I think I really learned what my body's capable of and what I'm able to handle throughout the course of the season. And, kind of taking all of that and trying to put it into this year and, putting some better systems in place to deal with, kind of what I went through in the second half last year and making sure that we do everything we can to avoid that and make sure that doesn't happen again. But my ability to compete still remains. And, I think that was something I really had to tap into in that second half of the season. And, to finish the year making all my starts and staying healthy was huge for me.
Yeah. And you almost doubled up the amount of innings you threw from, 2024 into last year. So there's a lot that goes into that. Do you have an idea of where you want to be at the end of this season as far as your innings go?
I try not to set a firm goal on that. Obviously I'd love to throw more innings than I threw last year. If I could make it to 180 innings, that'd be amazing. But I think that's one of those things you kind of just have to wait and see how the season goes and how things progress. But I think I certainly put myself in a good position to increase my workload this year and, hopefully have a stronger second half than I did last year.
The last time I checked, and I checked like a couple days ago, the Cardinals, at least right now, would have the youngest team in the majors, which is kind of cool, actually. But what's that been like in camp so far? I know it's early, but what's the vibe like? The fact that you're so much younger now, is that a good thing for the Cardinals, in your opinion?
I think so. The vibes have been great so far. There's a lot of young, fresh energy, which I think is exciting. And, it seems like everybody's on board with the plan. And, we're all working on creating an identity for our team right now. And so, I think that where we're at right now is a great place to build from. And, all this young and new energy, I think, has been really good for us.
And we know that because it's been the talk of spring training, the new facilities, the Cardinals have redone a lot there in Florida and are trying to modernize it. So how are you seeing the new facilities and how have they been able to help?
Yeah, I mean they've done exactly that. These new facilities are top notch, state of the art. This is everything that you could ask for in a facility. There's really no resource that we don't have now, and that's something that I think is invaluable and something that we're all trying to utilize to the best of our capabilities while we're here for spring training.
Libby, if you could just sort of explain from a pitcher's viewpoint, when writers and broadcasters talk about all the changes that have been made behind Bloom, bringing in, getting the Cardinals up to speed with pitching labs, technology, a lot of advanced stuff, in the real world, so to speak. I mean, how do you think that stuff will help you and the other pitchers?
I think the more information you have, the better. Obviously, I think that with more information, you also have to develop a filter and be able to understand yourself well enough to know what information is valuable to you and what information might not be valuable to you. But I think in this day and age where there's been such a high importance placed on numbers and analytics, I think if you can develop that filter, you really can use them to your advantage. And so, now with us kind of modernizing everything and really honing in on making sure we have enough staff and people in the right departments and also numbers and technology and analytics, I think somewhere in there lies the perfect combination of the art and the science. And, I think having those resources at our disposal now certainly helps guys be able to create the best version of themselves much quicker.
Matthew, you have thrown to a number of different Cardinals catchers, and sometimes you have guys who like to throw to certain catchers. They feel more comfortable. There's a better rhythm. There's a different rhythm. And for others, it doesn't matter that much based on the game plan. Does it matter to you? Are you one of those who likes to have a certain catcher that you throw to?
I'd say yes, but I would also say that out of all the catchers we have, I have not disliked throwing to any of them. We have a really good catching core here and a bunch of guys that really understand baseball and how to read swings and how to read at-bats. And, our catchers, they're the first ones at the field every day. They're the last ones to leave. They're by far the hardest workers out of everybody in camp. And, they take a lot of pride in getting to know all of us as pitchers and also as humans. And, that certainly helps with in-game adjustments and understanding what guys like to throw in certain situations. And, our catching core does a fantastic job of all of that stuff.
Are you excited to get the ball in what appears to be you're going to get the ball in the first exhibition game? Are you excited for that?
I couldn't be more excited. I've been itching to get on a mound and face some hitters with a different jersey on than since I started throwing back in December during the off season. So for it to finally be here, I couldn't be more excited about that.
And one of our listeners points out you'll be doing it with number 32 instead of 52. And we know that it's because it's in honor of Sandy Koufax, which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. I was kind of just given that number when I was younger, and it didn't necessarily have any meaning to me. And at the time, at 8-9 years old, I obviously still hit. So on the hitter side of things, it was Josh Hamilton. And on the pitching side of things, it was Sandy Koufax. And, my hitting career ended pretty abruptly once I got to high school. So the Josh Hamilton comparison kind of went out the window. But, me and Sandy Koufax both throw very similar curveballs. I used to model his mechanics and study his video and watch the way he pitched and kind of just fell in love with it. And so, that comparison really resonated with me for a long time. And, I wasn't able to choose my number when I first got to the big leagues. So, 52 is kind of given to me and, I liked it. I ran with it for a while, but once that 32 opened up for me, I made sure to try and jump on it. And, it feels right wearing that number. Not that it means a whole lot in the grand scheme of things anyways, but it's one of those little things that just makes you feel good when you put the jersey on.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you in that number. Matthew Liberatore, looking forward to the season starting and to your start on Saturday as Grapefruit League gets going. Thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. Looking forward to getting baseball going here.
Cardinal starter Matthew Liberatore on the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Bernie, we will talk again soon. I know you'll be on Rush Hour Sports tomorrow at 5, yes?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And Ron, always a pleasure to work with you, man.
You too, my friend. Thank you. That is Bernie Miklasz. I'm Chris Ranji. If you missed it, you know where to find it. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or the Odyssey app. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock on the Gashouse Gang on KM.